theme to pick out this morning.
Oh, it's nice out here, man. I'm going to go meet Regina and Dave Thompson tomorrow.
And that information you sent me on that KONGen demo, that was in Tulsa?
I believe so, Dan. That is the gentleman I'm going to meet tomorrow. I believe he's doing what he's doing as a carpool to Tulsa. I'm not sure who's putting on the event. You could contact him. They seem like really cool people, bro.
Oh, very cool.
They just got in the business and they own an animal farm.
Are they in Michelle Riley's group?
I'm not sure. I believe they're under Philip and his wife.
Okay.
There's a lady out here named Stacy Kelly that I'm going to go meet tomorrow also. She's going to meet me at the farm, and I believe she's the one that got them involved. So I'm not sure. I'll find all that out tomorrow.
That's good. They're selling machines in Arkansas. That's good.
Oh, buddy, it's wide open out here. It's pretty nice, man. The sunshine. I woke up this morning at 6:30, and the sun was just coming up, and I was like, man, I feel better out here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, JJ's in the snow.
Right.
Now, we actually haven't been getting much snow here. It's
really.
We'll get it though. We always get our snow here, but this year it's been heck. I could probably end up going golfing tomorrow if I wanted to. Looking like
the clubs are in the back of the truck.
Yeah,
JJ, I'm like you up here. We're supposed to be opening our ski hill this weekend, but I think I have a better chance to go golfing.
Yeah, so you like to chase that little white ball too, huh, there, Bickford?
Hey, I'm on ski patrol, JJ.
Oh, you are, huh?
Yeah, I'm one of the guys wearing the red vest that's got to keep you yahoos in line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to get working with Ian get his machine here and start working on my knee, utilizing the old Voltinator's technology so I can keep my OEM part. You know, interestingly enough, Paul, I just talked to a buddy of mine and he said he had his knee replaced like 70 days ago. And he said it's finally starting to feel better. He said it was really painful and really a process and everything. But he said now after about 70 days, he said that it's starting to feel a lot better.
Yeah, mine's starting to come around. I can't believe you still deal with yours, bro. I can tell yours has to hurt you very bad, man. I just couldn't deal with it physically no more.
I just have a belief that I can fix it, that it, you know, based on what I've learned about Ian and his technology, I believe that I can keep my OEM part.
Yeah, but it got to the point where I almost couldn't walk. It hurt so bad, dude.
That's when you learn how to fly.
Hey, listen, Wets.
Pull out the George Jetson. So you guys, you know, I figured I'd just throw out a theme there this morning for seeing how this is the first of the year, and you know, I put out a post saying, "Oh, so you think that the KONGen Water machine is too expensive, huh?" Well, you know, a little look into the real numbers with the numerator, and maybe you'll find out otherwise. And so I figured it might be kind of fun to you know, have Dan talk with us a little bit today about, you know, the real cost of a KONGen water machine. You know, I personally believe that it's more expensive to not have a KONGen water machine than it is to have one. And you know, it'd be nice to you know, have a little bit of documentation to back that up a little bit. And who better to do it with than our numbers guy, Mr. Edland. So we've got old Dan Edland in the house today, kids, and looking forward to hearing what he has to say in regards to this. And, you know, Dan has spent a lifetime crunching numbers. And so he's better than anyone I've ever seen at kind of breaking down the numbers and looking at the reality behind it. And so, yeah, good to have you here, Dan. As usual, we love having you in here. It's a very grateful day every month when you bop in the house and give us some love. And so,
Yeah, please.
yeah, glad to have you here, brother.
Well, I'm glad to be in here. And I saw Brandon's deal about getting a machine sold. So I want to congratulate him. That's always nice to, it's always nice to get that first one out of the way. Yeah, no, it's funny. You caught me on the tails of, so tonight I'm doing a demo where people have been put into this group and they're going to watch it remotely, but I'm going to be doing that tonight. And so, and JJ, you know, I think it's going to be kind of what you were looking for, the 15-20 minute, kind of like what me and Liz did, but obviously with the angles and the camera a little bit more figured out. So we'll have a demo to send to people. But it was funny because last night I was at the store getting some water, and Liz looked at me, and, you know, she saw the water because we had separated in the store, and you know, she looked down and saw the water, and I was like, oh yeah, it's for the demo. But I realized, you know, and I was buying the cheap stuff for the demo, so the Aquafina, Dasanis and stuff like that. And I figured out that I paid $8.76 for a gallon of bottled water, right? $8.76. You know, for water that we know has very, very little value and things like that. But, you know, if you're looking at just the water cost of it, I mean, you know, and anybody that wants to tell you, and I get it, because when I first got my machine, you know, my response to the guy who introduced me to, I was like, you do know I got, you know, water at my house. I mean, I got water in my toilet, by the way. You know, I have plenty of water. So, but, you know, when you really sit down and look at the business of water and the business of bottled water and water in general, I mean, it's a massive, massive, massive deal. So, you know, they've taken something that, you know, I'm sure Paul can tell everybody on here, pretty much mostly the older guys can tell you, you know, that the bottled water wasn't even a business until 20 years ago. I mean, nobody was bottling water when Wetz was in high school, or Paul, you know. So they've taken this commodity, and like everything else, they want to, you know, expose people to them, and then, you know, bend them over backwards for it. And, you know, $8.76 for the cheap stuff is ridiculous. But the other thing that I was looking at, and I didn't end up buying it, but I want to just do some math on it. So it was an antioxidant drink that I saw, and it was well, anyway, roughly, long and short on the math, it came out to $22.42 a gallon for this little berry antioxidant thing I found in the store. And, you know, so, you know, people are already, I mean, for lack of a better word, people are already being extorted for their hydration and their needs. And, you know, people see antioxidant rich, you know, whatever it is, berry juice, and pay $22, $23 a gallon. The only difference is they're just not doing the math.
Right.
You know, they're just not doing the math. It's the frog in the pot theory, right? I mean, there's not a sign up there that says, you know, you're paying $16 a gallon for this. You're paying 5 times what you are for the gas in your car. It just says, you know, 99 cents or $1.29, and it's very convenient because we grab the bottle and we walk away. But, you know, not to be too harsh, but, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Idiocracy, but it's very real in the American society. And the bottom line is, people aren't paying attention. They're just not paying attention.
Yeah.
So the same person that can, you know, go to Starbucks every day, and at the end of the month go, you know, they don't realize, wow, you know, I probably spent my car payment in coffee this month. You know, they don't realize how easy it is to take that same money, dial it back a little bit on that particular want or need, and completely change their life with something that, you know, if you even go somewhat conservative, you're talking, you know, 18 to 25 cents a gallon for something that's going to last you for 20 to 25 years. So,
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. It would be really a great way to, a great thing to have at our disposal, something that's fairly quick, that goes through the numbers on these things, because a lot of people, like the last 2 people that I've had use my loaner machine, they really haven't even used it, and all they can think of is $5,000. They're not looking at the numbers, and
Right.
seeing what they're actually spending money on. And, like that guy with the cleaning, the detail thing, he has severe headaches,
Mhm.
and this is too expensive.
Well,
It's just,
it's tough to get results when you don't drink it, right? And so when
Right.
you have a Kangen water machine sitting on your counter and you're still getting headaches, because you're not drinking it, it's easy to say, yeah, well, that machine's not much. But the thing is, for somebody who does get horrible migraines or something, actually decides to utilize the technology and then goes, oh wow, so those horrible headaches I get every month, that's not something I have to deal with, that's something I choose to deal with. It's a different story. And so, and it's I use this analogy sometimes, but even some people can't really grasp it. So it's like if I came along to Sean and said, hey, listen, I see you using this iPhone, iPhone being the bottled water, but here I have this thing. It's 50 times better than bottled water. It's going to do 1,000 things that your iPhone won't. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to take your monthly payment from $117 a month to $12. You couldn't keep them in stock fast enough, but people can't wrap their head around the fact that this thing is water, as opposed to, a phone is their instant gratification, or their car, they get to drive around and look cool in it, or feel good when they put their foot on the gas, or, take the top down in the summertime. It's that instant thing that they can see and touch and feel. But if they don't drink the water and experience what that machine has to offer, they never get to feel, the top come down on the car.
right. Yeah. Isn't that the truth? I know we've all experienced it.
Yeah. So, and Brandon put in the thing about the guy with the detail shop. I mean, that guy doesn't understand. I mean, we're talking about cleaning costs, chemical free, ways that he could promote his business to be different than the other. I mean, the bottom line is, with a detail shop, what are you doing to separate yourself? If you're a smoothie place or a juice bar or any of those things, what are you doing to separate yourself? Why should I stop at your CBD store as opposed to the one down the corner? There's virtually no difference. I mean, Liz is a special kind of deal, so she can figure out the better than average CBDs, or she can find the diamond in the rough and the product she wants, but the average person doesn't know what they're looking for. And so what separates a CBD store that utilizes KONGen water versus one that doesn't? They'll look at you and go, oh my god, the cost. They don't even know the kind of return on investment that they're saying no to, right?
Right.
But if we don't have the opportunity to educate and share the information with them, then they're just left to their own devices. And like I said before, idiocracy is real. I mean, I had somebody that I was doing handling objections and overcoming objections on a Zoom last night for some people. And the one, a girl brought up, she goes, well, I got this objection the other day, and it was, well, your body's, not supposed to have too much electrolysis. And I was like, that's not even a real objection. So what we have to do is, we have to get educated, because if somebody says to you, well, I don't want to be sleeping in a cave. Well, you're not sleeping in a cave. It has nothing to do with the conversation. I mean, you're not drinking electrolysis. But the thing is, she didn't have the education to respond to that and say, no, electrolysis is the process that the machine does. We're not, but she just didn't understand. And so, we have to get educated and we have to be informed, because like with your guy, hey, I understand exactly what you're going through. Migraine headaches, that can be something in your life that you choose to have, or something that you don't choose to have. All I am is an educator. All I do is share the information. If at the end of the day, your want and desire to live with migraines isn't worth, the 63 cents a day for, let's put the migraines aside. Well, let's talk about, your home, washing your produce, cleaning up your kitchen, doing this, that, and the, let's put those other 573 things the machine does to the side. But if just getting rid of the migraines, isn't worth it to you, I mean, I can only be an educator, but ultimately, your healthcare is your responsibility.
Yeah. Amen.
Good thing, if you change your mind or the headaches get too debilitating, I'm always going to be here for you.
Yeah.
But the problem is when they don't drink, they don't really have a reference point to go back to. It's funny. The same girl that I was doing the objections for last night, her brother had bought a machine, and the father was going to buy a machine at the same time. Well, the father goes, yeah, $5,000. And I guess I can just drink off my son's every once in a while because he goes to the house every 2 weeks. So, if he fills up a bottle every 2 weeks, he's covered, right? And he ended up calling up a year later, baby? Yeah. And buying a machine because he got diagnosed with cancer, colon cancer. And so he immediately, then all rational goes out the window, right? And he buys a machine immediately. And I don't understand the extent of the numbers she was talking about, but she said he was doing very, very well after having the water in his life with his issue. But, it took that for him to pull the trigger. People are under some kind of delusion in this life that, this is some kind of dress rehearsal, right? Sean asked, or you guys were talking about replacing your OEM parts, but this is the deal. You get one.
Yeah.
In 50 years from now, they'll go, oh, here, you just cut off that leg with a little laser and put it back on and drain his life savings, and we'll let you walk again. And that's where healthcare is headed in this country. But the thing is why not take care of what you have? I mean, if I bought Shauna his favorite car in the world and it was $95,000 and parked it in his driveway, he would put the best gas in the world in it without even asking. I wouldn't even have to ask him, are you taking care of that car? Of course he would. Absolutely he would, because it means something to him. But we don't put the same time and effort or thought into our own body.
Yeah.
And that's a sad state, that's what we've been conditioned to do. Somebody says, oh my God, this thing's in the air, put this Petri dish on your face. But while you're home watching Netflix all day because you're scared to death, don't worry about eating 3 boxes of Doritos a day. Just eat them. They're good, Have a Pepsi. Have a Coke and a smile.
Yeah.
Right?
I love the way you think there, brother.
While you're staying home and eating, and protecting your immune system, eat all this shit and garbage and processed, horrible food, and, drink your bottled water.
Amen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough, and that's the thing that with going through with her, once we realized that, some of these objections aren't even real, but this is all about addressing what somebody's going through, overcoming the issue, and moving on to the next issue. This isn't going to be right for everybody. I don't need to sell a machine to every man, woman, and child that I meet to be successful or to feel good. Now, obviously, I would like every family to have this, but like I said, the healthcare is their responsibility, and all I can do is be an educator and an informer. And, it's really too bad the guy with the detail shop, because if he'd have used it around that place for a week, he'd have realized, he's stealing money.
Yeah, no doubt. And, that's kind of what our intent here was today, is give people an idea of just how much money they could save by having this machine. I've said for a long time that Kong doesn't cost, she pays. And, maybe you could give people just a little bit of, well, first off, because I can already see, remember how we were talking just a little bit ago about $8.76 a gallon. Let's say somebody comes in and buys a machine at the most expensive way they can buy it, really, as far as, like not having credit or whatever, where they're buying it on an Magic financing and paying $6 a day for a K8. That's about as expensive as it gets. And,
right.
So they're paying that money for their machine versus $8.76 a gallon for Aquafina.
Yeah.
And how do those numbers work out? Because and how expensive is KONGen water? How much you can already hear people asking that question. Oh yeah, well, how much is it? How much is it per gallon for KONGen water? And
well, so here's kind of the deal, and Liz and I do a lot of cleaning of machines, and we see a lot of machines that are 13, 15, 17 years old. And so when people go down the road of the 20 to 25 year device, I'm comfortable having that conversation, because shit, I don't know, was it 3, 4, 5 weeks ago? We had a machine in here and it was so old. I mean, I did a post on it. Some of you guys probably saw it. It was so old, the hoses were literally fraying off of it. I was like, but here's the thing. The machine hadn't been cleaned in 3 years and the filter had been in it for 2.5 years, and they were super apologetic and, oh my God, we love it. We didn't know where to get a filter and we didn't know about replacing the hoses, even though they look horrible. Well, I stuck the damn meter in the thing that was measuring minus 515, right? It was a 13, 14. Well, it was so old, put it this way, it was so old that the beauty water button didn't even say beauty, it said acid. Because before 2000, I think 2011 or 2012, all the SD 501s said acid on them. So when I saw the acid, I mean, I saw the hoses, I knew something was really wrong. I mean, you know, it looked like they had the thing, you know, kept it out in the woods or something, but the machine was just so frayed and screwed up. But then when I saw the acid button, I was like, oh my God, how old is this thing? So, but it ended up being, you know, 14, 15 years old. So I'm super comfortable having that conversation about these being at least at a minimum a 10 to 15 year device, right? That's a pretty safe estimate. And if you take something like a K8 and you break it down over 10 years, adding a filter a year, you're looking at about $1.55 a day.
Unlimited.
Right. So the thing is so if you said to somebody, you know, well, how about we eliminate free radicals and the fact that you can, you know, have tons of antioxidants for your inflammation and you can wash off your produce and you don't need to buy hand sanitizer like the government's telling you to, and you can clean your stove and get the herbicides off and, you know, clean your rice and clean your food and like everything we do in our home, and it's going to cost you $45 a month. I mean, how is a sane person going to balk at that when they spend, you know, $110 to $140 a month on a cell phone that literally does them nothing? I mean, let's be honest. There's people out there that do very well from their phone, but there's a lot of people that phone is doing nothing for them. Absolutely nothing. I mean, nothing. And wasting their time, wasting their life, wasting their hours. It's another television to watch, right? But the bottom line is, it's not an income producing activity. It's a mind softening device, right? So it's not making them any sharper, but they have no problem spending $115, $120, $130 a month for their cell phone bill. But, you know, $45 a month for something like this is, you know, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, but if you look at the device in itself as far as a depreciating asset, I mean, so, you know, if you take something like a car and you go to a car lot and, you know, you go, oh my God, you know, it's been a dream of mine. I just wanted it. And you do everything you can to justify the purchase to yourself. And you drive home with a $572 a month car payment. You know, very few people realize that $50,000 that you drove home that night, when you got home to your house 7.2 miles later, it was worth 42 grand.
Yeah.
You literally could not, and trust me, you don't want to test me on this. You literally could not go back the next morning and sell it back to the dealership for $8,000 less than you paid for it. You could not.
Right.
And trust me, I've had people try it and they come back 4 days later and what? That's 11,000 less than it. Fair market value, brother.
That's the name of the game, baby.
So, but the thing is, here's a device that literally, I mean, you know, years and years and years and years later, I mean, somebody could say there's depreciation, but you know, if you've done anything at all, you've already utilized it. I mean, we turn our machine on probably conservatively 15, 20, 25 times a day. Oh, Liz said like 40. So, I mean, it's the most used appliance in our house, but here we are years and years and years later, and it still gets used. And, you know, I had a gentleman that was just in a different situation. Actually, it was one of Liz's friends, and she just, you know, does very well doing something else and kind of, you know, lives out in the middle of nowhere in California and just wanted a device. And, you know, we just took like a 5 or 6 year old K8 and, you know, she just said, well, I'll just give you a couple grand for it. You know, I mean, you can't find anything else that that keeps its appreciation the way that this device does.
So somebody was willing to sell their machine for a couple grand, huh?
No, well, what we did is we took a 5-year-old loaner that had already made us, multiple six figures and said, okay, well, if you don't want to do the business, you don't want to buy a new one, and you just want it for a little weed farm, and here you go. It's just, just didn't have any desire to do the business or do anything like that. And it was going to be kept kind of in a, she didn't want a pristine brand new machine because it was going to be kind of in a rustic area and just, but what you can't do that with a car. You buy a $50,000 car and go and drive it around and try and sell it 5-6 years later. Somebody's going to give you, 10, 12 grand for it, but the point with this device is it's never ending uses. We didn't have to sell the K8. It was in the same condition of the day we bought it. Right.
Right.
And it was paying us every single day. We were using it for a loaner, using it for the house, using it for when we travel, but the uses, and it's just endless. I mean, there's nothing like this device as far as longevity and what you get out of it. And that's not even talking about all of the money we made off of it. That's just uses, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a whole nother side of the equation that we need to get into as well. But, one last little thing. I don't remember the name of that engineer, but I've seen his video a couple of times where he's a medical device manufacturer.
Ron
And he did a video where he was in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ron Hicks.
Yep.
And he was saying that his wife brought home a K8, and he asked her about it, and he said, how much did you pay for that? She said $5,000, and he got all irritated because she didn't ask him about it first and that kind of thing. She basically just said, I don't need to talk to you about spending money, or whatever. And so he waited till she went to bed, and then he tore the thing apart, because being an engineer, he figured, I'm going to tear this thing apart, see what's inside it and all that kind of stuff. And in that video, I remember he said that this device is, I put it back together and said, I think this thing should last for at least 100 years.
And I think he said it should be a minimum 30, 35 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And he did.
I mean, he said he was in the medical engineer, he was in the medical field. And if he was pricing it for his company, he would have it between $30,000 and $35,000, or maybe he said $30,000.
Yeah. So I think that's impressive stuff. And I, one last thing about the longevity of these machines. I know when this happened, I was brand spanking new to the business, and I didn't really have much, I didn't realize what I, potentially had at my disposal. Had I met this guy now, I would have said, dude, can I come over to your house and do some ORP tests and take some pictures and get some, this kind of thing. But I didn't. I was just like, wow, that's cool. That's amazing. But he said he had had his machine for 35 years. And that was almost 4 years ago now. So his machine, I guess now, is going to be around 39 years old. And he said it still works just as good today as it worked when I brought it home from Japan.
The oldest,
long before these things were even available here in the US. Apparently he was able to go find out about it in Japan and bought it home. And that's what he told me. He said, I've had my machine for 35 years and it still works just as good today as it worked when I bought it, when I brought it home.
Yeah, I did a video, the oldest one that me and Liz have personally worked on ourselves. I think it was between 22 and 23 years old, and that was about a year ago. So his machine, but I mean, this thing, you should have seen it. I mean, the hoses were almost brown black. He goes, well, I keep it kind of by the oven, but it doesn't hurt the machine. And, we cleaned it up, put a new filter in it, tested minus, I think, 690. And I said, Jesus, you ever think about upgrading? And he goes, hell, ain't nothing wrong with this one, is there? And I go, no, there's nothing wrong with it. So he goes, but he had an Asian wife and had brought his over because obviously they weren't in the States 22 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's just another one of those ways. And, our battle is trying to get people to understand that you're buying something that is going to last you, most likely our Kangen machines are going to outlive us. And I tell people all the time, my wife and I, we're going to have to figure out who we're going to will these things to. If you got kids, your kids are going to be fighting over them when you die. Like, who gets the Kangen machine?
I always love once every, year and a half, I'll get a phone call and, do you remember me? And and I'm trying to, right? And well, me and my husband got divorced, or me and the wife split up. And I'm like, oh, and let me guess, you're the one that didn't get the machine. And yep, she took the machine. And so I've had 2 or 3 of those where it was a divorced couple. And so, I've had a few of those for sure.
Yeah. So the next part of this that I think would be kind of fun to maybe get into, and I don't know whether Liz is around and whether she would like to extrapolate a little bit in here with us in this regard, but as far as the cost of the water, the savings on the water itself, one of the big things that we all know that we need to figure out a better way to help people understand. Good morning, Liz. Bless your heart. It's always good to see a real life angel. So, uses around the house, you were just saying a few minutes ago, the 573 uses around the house of this machine. We don't need to go into too much detail, but how much money can a person reasonably and easily save by simply utilizing Kangen water? I know that, one interesting thing before we get into it, that detail guy, he never even did any laundry with it. He never washed any vegetables with it or anything while he had it for those couple of weeks. And his reasoning was he didn't have time. That was what he said. We're too busy. We're too busy. We were too busy to use it. And I'm like, your washing machine's right there, I'm just like, okay,
The interesting thing about that, JJ, if you would have walked outside and you just said, this is yours for 10 days, do whatever you want with it, and it was a 2020 Ferrari, you probably would have found the time to drive it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the problem is there's a different in perception of value.
Right.
Even of his time, because that's the thing is, time is there for us for the taking, and we distribute it wherever we want to. When we say, oh, there's not enough time to do something that's different, it's because, like Dan said, there's no value. We haven't chosen to take it. But also, new people coming into here, I think of like tadpoles. Like they're like little infant babies. They know nothing, and they're kind of like, oh, water is different, And I feel like now that I have 3 years of trying it on the carpets, on the stuff in my car, on my dog when he got in a dog fight and his lip got cut open. I'm trying the 2.5 on everything. I'm trying it because I want it to work. I invested $5 grand into this, device. I'm going to use it however I can, wherever I can. That's what keeps me excited about it. Oh my God, I got the nail polish out of the carpet for that lady. It should be able to get, the old stain where I dropped hot chocolate on the carpet off. So I'm constantly trying and using it wherever I can. And I'm constantly telling people, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even have to buy laundry detergent. I just am dropping seeds everywhere about how I'm not utilizing chemicals in our house, on my skin, inside my belly, on my dogs, on my caregiving people, like everywhere. I don't use chemicals. I think it's like $330 something a month that women on average use and spend on beauty products. I don't have to do that. $330. I think guys, it's like 200 and something like that. And that can include a gym membership or something like that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to spend $40 a month on laundry. I don't have to spend any money on pre-workout, post-workout, nothing. 11.5 is pre-post workout and before bedtime because it releases melatonin. Like all this information is because I've been gathering it for so long. And I do realize that I'd like to organize it in a way that gets it out to people. So that's on my to-do list in the videos and things like that. But the thing is, the more we use it, the more we tell people and planting seeds. And then when we get a new person in, we literally lay it out for them every day. Hey, have you been drinking your gallon every day?
oh, well, no, I'm trying to get to it. I'm sorry you can't make the time to take care of yourself with the water, but I highly support you in drinking a gallon a day. That's all I say. Oh yeah, now I'm trying. Then it's fun. I got my gallon in today. I almost pissed my pants on the way to work, but I still got it in. You know, it doesn't matter. It's like about the excitement. Hey, have you used the water on your windows? Oh, I heard, you said you were cleaning today. Have you tried cleaning your mirrors with the beauty water? It's amazing. And I mean, there's so many things, but we have to share them. Otherwise, no one knows. And that's the thing. It's the number one thing that people who buy the machine ask me for. Hey, where's the thing that tells me all the places I can use this water? Oh yeah, there are these Peggy Parker books. There is this stuff online. It's not organized. And that's the thing, is for somebody like me who's likes information organized, it's not really there. So I got to create it. And so that's happening. But until then, we got to share with people what we're doing. We have to encourage new people to do things different, and as far as time goes, I mean, it's the one thing we can't buy. And it's honestly the one thing I feel like most people are wasting right now. Is a lot of time, like Dan was saying, on phones that don't do anything for them and TV and stuff like that. We can literally take a half an hour a day to call all the people in our downline and, tell them we appreciate them, tell them something that's coming up, or we can just keep flipping through the Netflix and finding marathons to watch that literally do nothing for my brain, my heart or my spirit. So I'm all about reaching out to people. Like this Wednesday, there's a lot of gals in my group who, because of the new year, are cleansing, right? They're like, I ate so crappy for all of November and December. So we started, a cleanse, and it's not crazy. It's the elimination diet. So it's just taking all the inflammatory things out of the diet for a couple weeks and downing that 11.5, because it's a degreaser for, car detailing, but it's also a degreaser for our colon. So people who do
No shit.
encouraging to do enemas with 11.5, it's amazing. I mean, there's so many things. It's just, we have to keep trying them out and sharing them. So it's all about, it's about sharing.
Liz, can you quickly be so kind to tell me, you blew my mind and I'm scrambling to find a pen. $330 a month women average spend on just the beauty supplies?
Yeah,
Or
beauty, whether it's makeup, there's women spending like $50 to $100 on toner, the stuff that makes their skin tighter, which is basically beauty water. It is, beauty water is way better than toner because it doesn't have any alcohol in it.
And Wes, just to clarify, that's a health and wellness protocol number that they came up with. Can you hear me? So like she said, for a gal, that could include toner and things like that, but that could also be yoga classes. That could be a gym membership for a guy. So when you hear those numbers, I mean, like the first thing I think is, man, I don't spend that. But then, I think like shaving cream, this, that, and the other. Somebody could have a gym membership. We know lots of people that we used to go to Nordstrom's and spend $50, $60, $70 for a bottle of toner that would last them a month and a half. And so when you hear those numbers, that's not just what I put on my face number. It's health and wellness. I got a client that spends over $800 a month on nutraceuticals, pills. You open up his cabinet, he goes, dude, I got my machine. I love it. I drink my water, but I'm still consuming $800 to $1,000 worth of pills a month.
do you help them understand, if we're talking about the whole 6 times absorption theory? If I'm not wrong, help me, but I tell people, cut your shit in half and still get 3 times the amount of efficiency and utilization that you were getting otherwise. Peeing out a highlighter of the yellow lemon Gatorade.
Hey, trust me, the guy's bought 3 platinums from me, 2 spas. We've had the conversation. He's just one of those guys. He has the money and the cabinet's full. And, some people get addicted to that feeling of, I'm taking this probiotic and I'm taking this for my pre-workout. I'm taking this after my workout. And it's just, sometimes they fall into these habits, and I would love to get him out of those, but it's just something he's continued to do, but he feels amazing, loves his water, and I can only do so much. Right.
Right. No, at least he has one. Whatever else he does, it's like at that point in time, he must have the means to do it. So giddy up, spur that horse and get to bucking.
Right.
Yeah, it's for everything. Like you were saying, cut that shit in half. I mean, for the growers and how much money I've seen.
What's going on with the audio?
$15 on nutrients. to cut that in half's a big deal, and for a $6,000 investment to be able to do that in super, is an even bigger deal. So they're saving, 125 grand in nutrients by spending $6 grand on a water unit. I mean, come on now.
Not just that, but think about mites, mold, and mildew at 2.5.
Oh yeah. Powder mildew gone. I got the perfect recipe. It's chamomile, baking soda, Dr. Bronner soap, and 2.5 powder mildew gone.
I can't hear either, Wets.
Yeah, it's weird. It goes, one of them talks and I don't know.
Yeah, I
For some
can't hear
reason,
either.
when Liz talks, we can't hear her very well.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Hold on,
Yeah.
she's running to grab a microphone.
You guys need one of these.
Chickadee
Yeah,
check,
no, she's going to get it.
microphone check,
Look at Ian.
microphone check, 1
Hey.
2 1 2. I got a coffee and a water refill.
Really? Is it? Yeah, are you not hearing me now?
I can hear you
Yeah.
great.
I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Okay.
we hear you, Dan, not Liz.
Okay, she went to get the microphone. Will you come down and talk? I'll find it. Hold on one second. She's coming back. But I want her to give you that recipe for the powdery mildew and stuff like that, because that's interesting information for people. So
Yes.
Okay, I'll talk really close like this. Can you guys hear me now?
There you
Oh,
go.
now we can hear you.
Yeah.
So the recipe for the powdery mildew. So I take 4 cups of beauty water and I brew up chamomile tea in it, maybe 4 or 5 bags of chamomile tea. Brew it up, let it cool a little bit. Then I add in a tablespoon of baking soda, a tablespoon of Dr. Bronner's Castile soap. The peppermint one works really good for bugs too. And then I add a cup of 2.5 in it, and that amount I'll use for, I don't know, a couple weeks, and I'll just spray it all over it, leave it. 2 days later, spray it all over it, check for spots. And yeah, I've had it gone in a week all the way for, a couple 100-footer hoop houses. So it's good stuff. There's so much stuff. That's the thing, is I'm such a nerd about the water. I spend too much time experimenting it and using it that now I got to take it out and educate people on what I've been doing. But yeah, that's it. And here in this forum, we can talk passionately about it, but when we get out there and talk to newbies about it, they're kind of like, whoa, this person's crazy, about water. So when I'm talking to a woman about changing her beauty habits and stuff like that, it's just like talking to growers about changing their food regimen. It's like, whoa, I don't know, this is my habit and I've had it for 20 something years. To change it up would be scary. But if we just, even do it with them and walk it through them like they're a little kid, it's okay. Let's just try it on one plant, or let's just try washing your face with 11.5 instead of whatever that crap is one day, and then they're like, oh yeah, it wasn't bad. And it's literally baby steps with everybody. And that's why a sale is they say 5 to 7 exposures, but I feel like it's more like 20 conversations at least,
Right.
So let's get this in.
Liz, at some point, if you guys are up for it, I'd like to interview you about that for my growers.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. I just wish more growers weren't so scared.
Well, if you've got a hoop house,
What are we
one
doing?
plant,
Can you hear us now?
yeah, that's great.
Oh, my house plants just take off. We had a Thanksgiving cactus bloom 3 times last year. 3 times. Just from Kangen. Nothing else different. It crushed it. All our plants in my house love the 9.5. And I don't know, Dan, if you saw in that document, I 3 peer-reviewed great articles talking about the improvements in growing. It was something with the roots of different plants. Just some great infos out there on hydrogen enriched water, and just the science is out there. Just people need to hear it. We just, like you said, we need to talk about it because the science is there. People just don't know. So that's where in communities I've been trying to reach out to multiple people in communities, and with the person that I sold it to, I'm trying to get them to start using it in the yarn dyeing business because I think it'll just work wonders with that too. Reduce the amount of water, reduce the amount of dyes. So I hear you guys there.
The uses continue to add up, right?
Mm-hmm.
All we got to do is use it for things and we find out that it works. So that's exciting. So yeah, you guys, I really appreciate the subject of this show today. I think it's a major issue for a lot of people, and maybe this can be something that pushes people over the hump or gets them to jump off the fence or whatever, that helps them realize that there's so many different things they can do. And yeah, it's I'm really looking forward, Liz, when you finally get that list compiled of all the different things that you utilize this water for. I'd be more than happy to pay you for
help with
you know,
it.
a copy of it, whatever, to help you with your time and expense of it, so that I can make copies of it. And anytime I take my machine out and let somebody use it, that I can give them this big list and go, look at all this stuff you can do. You know, because the thing I've got for my loaner, I've got that like 4-fold out that's got all the different colors that comes with the machine in it. But you know, I mean, there's some great stuff in there, but it's not nearly even scratching the surface as to what this thing can do and what you can do with it. Oh, you're completely nothing. I don't know where your sound went, but we lost you. No. Earth
They're
calling
so cool.
Morrison.
These two guys are like peanut butter and jelly. Those two are.
More calling Morrison.
Can hear nothing.
There we go. Now
Now we
you're back.
can.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yay.
So we gotta have a talk with Ian, because somehow when we plug in the microphone right here, we can talk, but we can't hear any of you guys. So we keep unplugging it, and then apparently then you guys can't hear us. So it's very strange. We're doing something wrong.
Yeah, technical difficulties we're figuring out always.
It can get you guys hooked up.
Thank
The
you.
machine's water doesn't seem to help with my technical difficulties, no matter how much I try.
What would be ideal for you guys so that you don't get feedback back into your microphone is get a 3.5 millimeter jack with a splitter, and then get 2 pairs of headphones that you can plug into your headphone adapter on your computer. And then your USB mic plugs into your USB 2 connection and picks up your wide range audio. And then you just wear your headphones so that you don't feed back into your computer.
I love it.
See,
We
in
need this
English,
guy on our
please?
team. Yes.
See, now that
Yeah,
was
but do.
that was a great 25-second lesson in Greek. Did I understand?
No.
I mean, not one fucking, not one word that he said registered up here.
I love it, brother.
I mean,
Me too.
One male,
yeah.
2 female.
Oh my
But
God.
at the same time,
I've
if you wrote it
fantasized
down,
about that my
you'd be able to
entire
get you
life,
it
but
at the
get back to
store.
task here, will you?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
all I heard was female. That's it. I don't even know what any of the other stuff means.
You're funny, brother. That's me.
Oh my God.
Totally. You know, I was just sitting here thinking, since Elizabeth's come into your life, you have changed and blossomed so much, brother.
I'll tell you what, it was funny because when I met her, I was doing the water and everything else wrong. So I had the water, but I was doing nothing else right. She's like, you know,
Yeah.
you can't drink the water and then have immunity from McDonald's. And I'm like, what's wrong with McDonald's? She's like, that's not food, you know? And so I
Right.
really have
Right.
learned a lot as far as about food and nutrients, and, you know, even did a month of vegan just to see how my body would feel. And yeah, so it's been an interesting development because, you know, I was so out of whack when I ran into this that, well, you know, and I tell people all the time, I'm very honest about it. So I used to do 4 to 5 cups of coffee in the morning before I went to work at 9 o'clock. As soon as the girls saw me walk in the door, I had a latte made for me at 9. So I was 5-6 cups of coffee before 9:30 in the morning, which everybody that knows me knows I don't need 6 cups of caffeine. I'm like this when I wake up. and then 3-4 Aquafinas a day, and then a Coke about noon, and then a Coke. Here's the interesting thing. Right before I used to leave work every night at 7:30, 8 o'clock, I would take a Coke with me for the road because I was tired. So, you know, it was 2 Cokes a day, you know, 5-6 cups of coffee. And then I would go through 3 or 4 Aquafinas, but it was one of those things I'd sip it once or twice, and I'd get busy with a client and I'd throw it in the trash and just go get a new one. So I can't even imagine the bottles that I was wasting. I wasn't probably drinking. I probably throughout the day was maybe drinking, on a good day, maybe 15 ounces of water a day, maybe. And then, of course, every meal was garbage, you know, so.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I know I never, speaking of the expense of this machine, I know that before I got a KONGen water machine, I never drank water, ever. I drank water when I was sick, and I drank water when I was on a river trip, and that's it. I figured I get my water from my Gatorade, my Coke, my Sprite, my whiskey, you know, whatever. I get my water from all this other crap, my coffee, all that kind of thing. And I don't, you know, I don't need water. But once I bought the machine, my mindset shifted to, well, I just spent $4,000 on this thing. By golly, I'm going to drink the water.
And, you know, I hate to expose how limited my knowledge was, but I truly was under the guise of, when I bought my machine, I was like, I thought as long as I was putting a liquid in my body, it was, I mean, I was literally, I want to say it, I was literally that dumb. Like, if you would have said to me, do you realize there's a massive difference even between drinking an Aquafina and a Coke? I would have been like, well, I mean, other than a tad bit of sugar, there's not really a difference, is there? I mean, I was just very, very unaware of anything. So I figured as long as I was putting a liquid in my body, I was doing whatever I needed to do. And I was doing the bare minimum anyway. I would drink the Coke for energy. I would drink the coffee in the morning because I needed to wake up. Because, I mean, if you looked at my diet and look what I was putting in my body, I mean, I was running on fumes, right? And that's the other thing, is when I'm introducing people to this, because here's the problem. When you introduce, like your guy with the migraines that has the detail shop, I tell people, for a reason, you don't even remember how good your body was designed to feel. I promise you. So when you have this opportunity, take advantage of it, because you may come out on the other side in 10 or 12 days and go, oh my God, because that's what happened to me. I put down the Cokes, and after the KONGen machine, hell, I couldn't drink 5 cups of KONGen coffee if I wanted to. So I would have one, shoot for a second one, couldn't even finish it. So my cups of coffee went from 6 to 1 a day. The Cokes disappeared. The 2 or 3 Aquafinas that were 15 ounces turned into, slowly, started with 50, 60, 70 ounces of water, then 80, then 90. And now, I mean, it's very, very rare that we don't drink a gallon of water a day. But I tell people that all the time. I promise you, you don't remember how good your body was designed to feel. But give yourself the opportunity to find out.
Yeah.
You just might be amazed.
That's a great point. So does anybody have any other questions or any comments about what we've talked about today for Dan?
Non-technical and microphone related, please. No microphone questions. Yeah, those are for Ian. From now on, everybody call Ian.
I do.
Go ahead there, Ian.
Dan and Liz, I actually just sent you a Facebook message. I am very, very interested in collaborating with you guys on what Liz was talking about. I've got a project that I'm working on right now that I initially started to be able to serve my international clients and distributors better. So my team that is in Australia is 15 hours ahead of me, and I've got no way of being able to physically help them unless I took that online and got my poop in it. And so I think I've got probably the absolute best way for you to do what you're talking about. And Wets and I are working together on a regular basis. JJ's hopping in. So this may be a really good way for us to collaborate.
Yes, please. I would love that. And also someday, somebody who knows how to make apps, I think it would be amazing app
like what to use, how to use Kangen water as an app. Like, oh, I've got a stain in my carpet. What do I use? Oh, you know, for removing makeup, what do I use? Like, I mean, I don't know how to make an app, but I think it would be awesome to have a Kangen water uses app. Would
I
be
got
really
somebody.
cool.
Yeah, somebody could literally just pull open an app and type in a quick search of, what do I do for cleaning a carpet? And bam, 11.5 comes up, and then some details, and it can be done.
Good
And
idea.
we're just not educated on the app part. We certainly understand the uses, but you got to understand millions and millions and millions of people are going to get this machine over the next 5, 7, 10 years. And every one of them is going to be asking the same question.
And a lot of people are going to be buying machines from the people who know the answers. That's it. It's all about educating ourselves right now. Because I got a distributor in Calgary now, and she was working with somebody else, but because her girl couldn't answer basic questions about the machine, she bought from me because we worked together. And I talked to my friend in New Zealand yesterday, saying, same thing. I'm like, what time is it over there? He's like, it's the future, 7 p.m. It's a big thing that we're going to be able to help people around the world. And I'm learning too, like Canada's completely different commission structure than we have. So I got to make a different video for Canada's commissions, and nobody's doing education on that. There's not a commission, a magic, what is it? Compensation plan for Canada online right now. There's nothing. And their commission's just a little bit different than ours. So there's a lot of holes that we can fill as distributors, and we're going to get noticed because we're doing this work. So I'm super stoked to work with you, Ian.
I just reached out to a buddy of mine who's a developer. We'll see what he says whenever he shoots me back.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with you guys.
That would be a heck of a thing to be able to give everybody, every time we sell a machine, tell everybody, go get this app.
So
Amen.
I do have a question for you guys, because I've got an educational platform that I use in my neurophysiology business, and you can start one course for free. I think they actually let you have more than one course for free. But you can put everything behind a paywall if you choose to, or password protect it, but it's optimized for mobile. It's not necessarily an app, but it does have cell phone functionality. And so you guys would be able to build interactive platforms and video trainings that people could just click through. You can itemize everything in topics and put in bins. So
Love it.
that's one thing that we could do. I'm going to be using it for different aspects of my business.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. It's awesome. Be very helpful.
Oh, Liz, why don't you put your, because Ian, she's not on Facebook, so I'm going to have Liz put her email down here for you.
Oh.
Because she's
Okay.
not on Facebook.
Yeah. I'm going to be around all week too. So if you guys want to set up a, Scott, I just got your email. If you guys want to set up a Zoom to talk about some of this stuff, then we can do that.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll get our microphone situation. We'll get a splitter. I've got the headphones and the microphone. I just got to get the splitter. So thank you for that.
Yeah, just a 3.5 millimeter is what you're going to be looking for.
Perfect.
Just get it at Best Buy.
Ian, what's your schedule like next week, brother?
Right now, I've got a lot of availability, man. I just need to put you on it.
Okay, I'll touch base with you, bro.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate everybody being on here.
Heck yeah.
Anybody else got any questions before we go face the day?
Who's
Gonna
got a
get out
gallon in already?
Nah, 40 ounces. I've had 40 ounces already.
Awesome.
Working on it.
Heck yeah.
What are you, Paul? You 3 hours ahead or 2?
I just tested my water here in the motel. I'm a negative 532.
Sweet.
Are you 3 hours ahead, Paul, or 2?
Just 2.
Okay, 2.
Central time.
Okay. All right, well.
Yeah, gonna get out here and beat the streets today. Trying to work up the courage to go into a chiropractor's office here.
Got it? The courage is in there.
It's here. I just got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They got
You
CBD
can.
they got CBD stores out there, Paul, or they don't have those out there yet?
Yeah, they do, bro. Uh-huh.
Those are good places to chat with.
Yep. Lots of nails, spas, massages. There's a lot of stuff here. It's pretty open.
I was asking Dan because the last time I was in Arkansas, I was in Hot Springs and we were digging crystals. And I was thinking because there's Sebastian Restrepo is a crystal digger too, and he cleans all his crystals with 11.5. You know, because it decreases them off and everything, and then the beauty water shines them up. So it's everywhere. There's a place for this water everywhere. And so it's just finding those connections and being ready to jump on them as soon as it comes. It's like sometimes I don't ever know what to say right away. You know, I just kind of sit there and I'm telling myself these stories for these people that could use this water for this or that or whatever. And it's honestly, it's questions, just starting to ask questions, because then they open up first and then I sneak the water in there somehow, plant a seed about something, you know, for the first visit. But yeah, it's usually it's around 20 for me, 15 to 20 conversations before I'm selling a machine.
Oh, we lost you again. All of a sudden you just cut out.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
There you go. Now you're back.
Weird. We're in the twilight zone out here. I don't know.
You're in Seattle, bro.
Oh my God! Don't get me started.
Must be the clouds.
I can't come back there, brother. I just don't want to.
Don't do it.
Yeah, it's been raining literally for 10 days straight, man. Just horrible.
I know it.
Not good for the psyche, you know?
No, man. And they're shutting everything down. One of my buddies, they shut his restaurant down in Burlington yesterday. Ellen and I did.
Ridiculous.
Told him, don't do it, dude. Stay open.
Yeah. See, they want him to go home and starve to death and go bankrupt, and
it's so sad, brother. There's so
many. Because he might catch a cold.
There's so many small businesses going out of business up there. It is so sad.
I was reading a thing yesterday. So not to get too far off topic, but California in LA County last year, JJ, you'll love this. They reported 21,700 cases of the flu. And then in 2020, they had 59. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
59.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been jokingly and sarcastically saying. You know, that's the one good thing about the COVID is that it's eliminated all other diseases.
Yeah,
there's no such thing as heart disease. There's no such thing as motorcycle accidents or getting ran over by a bus or falling off a cliff or anything. All diseases, all other causes of death are gone.
Gone.
Liz, and then when you argue with people in the healthcare, they say all that's dropped because of the precautions we're taking.
Oh, yeah.
Those precautions only work with every other disease and not COVID for some reason. They are so, it is mind numbing to be in it right now. Like, I'm going to tell you guys right now, there's hardly any fact. There's superstition, and we're acting like everybody's parents right now instead of a team. Telling everybody what to do, and you can't question us otherwise. Isn't it didn't they come up with the perfect deal though? You know, they have an answer for everything. You can't see, touch, and feel, so there's nothing, you can't really dispute anything. And then if you say, well, what happened to cold and flu? They go, well, it's because everybody's wearing masks. But here's the interesting anomaly though. If you look at Florida is doing exceptionally well, wide open. So I was on that same thing we were looking at yesterday. So they were saying that Florida and California right now are doing almost identical testing across the board, plus or minus 0.5%. So they're both doing around 235,000 tests a day. Yep. California is in a complete lockdown state. As you know, Florida is no mask, completely wide open. California's positive ratio is 4.7 times higher than Florida's right now. So what are they going to say about that? Their policies don't work.
And it's like nobody's ever heard of a micron rating.
Yeah.
I'm seeing all of my friends who are EMTs and paramedics, and they're wearing cloth reusable masks on the truck. And it's like,
have they never?
I would. N95, you don't have protection.
With them.
I got
So-
HEPA filter trained for mold remediation. We needed HEPA filter for a mold spore that's like the size of a house compared to a piece of dust that is a virus or exosome. And so
Right.
I can't even comprehend how I would almost get fired from a job because mold was so dangerous if I was wearing a dust mask. But now for some reason, this same mask or all these cloths that have never been tested, which
Right.
is what they never say, that all these homemade masks have never been tested for any of this. How
And
they're
they're
going
from
to stop
China.
something that won't even stop a mold spore. So I don't know. I'm with you,
So-
Ian. I've been HEPA filter trained, and people don't even understand the size of all this. I mean,
So you're
they can't
you're
even
saying that
comprehend.
Liz's handkerchief doesn't work?
Nobody's covering their eyes either.
Right. You know what we really need to do, JJ? We need to go next level on here, and we need somebody to take a microscope and somebody to put on a mask just for 15 minutes and then show that thing under a microscope. Because I know people have been wearing the same goddamn mask for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. The thing's brown now.
I'll
got
ask
some
one of my
people-
professors if I can brew up a culture of what we have on our masks.
Yeah,
I've
all we
got
want
some
is
Kangen people that are doing cultures on masks, and they would probably be willing to come on here and present.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
if you
just
already got it. Great, because I suck at it.
yeah, one mask, brand new, fresh, 15 minutes. And I bet that thing's crawling like an ant farm when we're done with it. And I've got people that, like I said, been putting them on for months.
Call it like an ant farm. That's a good one, bro.
Well, you've seen the demonstrations with the 2.5 where somebody puts a phone underneath the microphone and there's 1,000 things running around, and then they spray it with the 2.5 and it just stops. And I think a mask would look very, very similar.
Yeah, we could use that as a double-edged sword. We could show people how the mold and the yuck and the grossness and whatever it is, and we probably see a bunch of stuff moving around like that, and then we just take our 2.5 and spray it on it, and then show that stuff stop just like that. Do that right here on the show. That would be super cool.
I've
That'd be
got a
something
buddy
that
who's
could-
got a dark field microscope too. He may be willing to come on.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, if you could work that out, Ian, let me know, and we'd love to do that one with some promotion and really get the word out on that one, and try to get a whole bunch of people in here and get it recorded, and that would be something valuable that would really that'd probably wake a lot of people up to these masks and just how ridiculous they are, how just foolish it is to rebreathe your own carbon dioxide is just insane. And most people don't really talk about that, but from my studying of the things that Dr. Kaufman has put out, that's the biggest concern for me. Is I don't want to rebreathe my own carbon dioxide. I just flat out don't want to do that. That's really, really bad for you.
Right.
And I'm like, when it just drives me nuts seeing people driving down the street by themselves in their car, and they got a mask on.
Aside from that, you're looking at bacterial pneumonia, thrush, all sorts of stuff that, just comes from not being able to offload your crap.
Yeah.
I
they're-
just got a document from Green Med Info yesterday on a 25,000 children participant study on the effects of masks. If anybody wants it, I could forward that to people. And there's so many negative psychological and physical side effects from these 25,000 children from all these masks. The info's out there on the negative effects, and there's hardly any info out there on the positive effects. So if anybody would like that, that's something I read yesterday that was pretty
There was a
eye-opening.
recorded % increase in influenza-like illness from cloth mask use in a double-blind study.
Mm-hmm.
It's just ridiculous. And there's never been any science on cloth masks. They've tested them for years. This is nothing new. People just don't know, and they're using fear to control the population. It's Pavlovian fear conditioning. Somebody says virus and everybody screams and pushes everybody else out of their bubble.
Well, and what
Yeah.
a lot of people don't remind people is that in our air, in our water, and in our soil, it's 10 to the 30 times viruses in each one.
Yep.
So that's 10 to the 90, which is a number no one can even really conceive of, that we're being exposed to like every day. And we're scared of one. Like, that doesn't make sense to me at all. And look at any study on decreasing oxygen to cells. Just start there. We're decreasing oxygen to our brains, we're decreasing oxygen to our lungs, we're decreasing oxygen to our cells. And what does that do? Nothing good. Nothing good. But KONGen water, because it's not attached to the oxygen molecule, goes into our cell, cleans it out, and allows fresh back into our cells. So, hello, remedy.
Yeah, you know, the thing is we have really the very best thing that anybody could do that might be concerned or scared about this, but the sad part is we're not allowed to say it. We're not allowed to tell it. We're not allowed to, like when I saw the stuff that we're actually allowed to say about our water from Enagic, it was like basically we can say nothing. I was like, this is crazy. We can't even say anything about our water, what it does without getting in trouble.
And Agic's philosophy is tell them it's good, clean water, and then ask them for $5,000. Okay. Good, clean water. Drinking good, clean water is good for you. Credit card, please. Stuff.
Exactly.
That's why I've been resorting to just handing out documents on hydrogen enriched water.
Right.
Not even talking about Kangen, and just, here's the scientific documents on that. I don't have anything on my machine, but that's what my machine makes. So
Right.
I don't know.
This is what molecular hydrogen does, and this is what this machine makes. So put it together.
And this is what I'm not spending my money on anymore. A bunch of chemicals that are GMOing my body. And
when I sprayed 11.5 on this blood on my carpet a couple days ago in front of the girls, and they just watched it bubble up and disappear. And my family, it was on the holidays. I said, look, I'm not crazy. Like, look what that just did. I mean, I've got to reduce so many chemicals in our house. And it is, I mean, me becoming a new father is so like important for like these little guys not to be exposed to this. I mean, if I can start now, I mean, I can't even imagine where they're going to be when they're older.
Yeah, they're going to be in a good place, brother. And by the way, I beg to differ. You are crazy. That's what I love. That's what keeps you from going insane. Right there with me, baby.
So JJ, we always appreciate you having us on, man. So thanks for slotting us in, and it's always nice to share some time with you guys.
Yeah, it's a blessing, and we're so appreciative of you guys and everything we learned from you, and just being part of your family. Basically, we're all a big happy-go-lucky family of wonderful people trying to help change the world. And
one asshole, you got to have a guy like me in the joint. You got to have a guy. I was told I was the nicest, most thoughtful prick they know. And I'm like, good. I'll take that.
Hey, Wets, what about you? Do you got snow where you're at?
No, I'm sitting here trying to up in the mountains. But yeah, here, check that out. Shazam.
Oh, Wets, it's just as bad down there as here.
Wow, look at that.
Gorgeous.
So that's my window. When my mine gets adrift, I get to candering out the window.
Do you normally get a lot of snow though, right?
Normally we'd be layered in about 2 feet of wind drifted sunset bench action right now. I mean, you got to get this 75-yard driveway plowed a 3 times a year, and it's January and I'm still working on my Norwegian tan.
And and what town are you in, Wes?
I'm in Stevensville, where it all began in 1841. Thank you kindly.
And what's the closest big city to that?
Missoula.
Oh, Missoula. What's the population of Missoula?
So I think 85? You actually mean Salt Lake City, Wets.
Oh,
Oh.
By
Well,
big city.
Spokane is my next closest city. Spokane is.
Yeah.
It's about 80,000, 80, 85.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, kids,
Hey,
I
and-
sure love you guys being here. If you don't mind, if
Jake,
we're all
Jake,
done, I'd like to give us a little closing prayer and then we can get on with another beautiful day. Sound good?
Hey, listen, Jay John, we're getting rid of this blind dog theory. Can't take him anymore, and I don't have the heart to take him out and put a bullet in his head. But after he flew around with his knucklehead ass, knocking water onto an $850 computer last night, I wanted to just break his neck, and he can't help it. He's 20 months old. I love him. He's a good boy, but you just can't deal with it. I mean, it's nuts. So I got Connor coming to get him. She's finding a blind rescue place. I'm like, that's an answered prayer. He's a good boy, but I just don't have the patience or the facility to just put up with that. So throw him in there, will you? Kansas is a good boy, and just, yeah,
Kansas is his name.
Kansas.
Nah.
Tux. I call him Tux because he's got a tuxedo on his undercarriage.
Tux.
Bless your heart for trying, Wets.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I tried so
Yeah.
hard. But he wasn't blind when I got him. He just took off because he's a meathead that you can't do. And he got kicked by something he chased and came back stumbling like he fell off a bar stool at 2:00 the next day, and just he's been blind for 3 months. And I'm feeling like Lloyd Bridges on Airplane when he picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Oh, our Father in
Oh,
heaven.
you look beautifully catatonic right now. You're just like in a blissful state of yeah.
I want to thank you, Lord, for another beautiful day where I got to open up my eyes again. Thank you. And just I want to thank you so much for that opportunity to be able to open up my eyes, my heart, my mind, my soul, and be able to have a chance to help other people do the exact same thing. I just want to ask for blessings for the Kangen family. It's such an amazing group of people. I want to ask for blessings for Mr. Oshiro and all the people that are working behind the scenes that are the reason why we're able to have all this opportunity to gather together with each other, to put our minds together, to share love and share good information that we can help use to accomplish our mission of changing this world for the best. I just want to ask for blessings for all of us, everybody that's out there struggling, especially with this nonsense that's going on, that they can come to their senses, that they can have some discernment, that they can look at the facts, that they can turn off their TVs, that they can throw the fear out the window and start replacing it with some bravery and some love and some courage to get out there and live their lives instead of running and hiding from their own shadows. I want to ask for some blessings for all my trucker brothers and sisters out there, because you know what they're doing, Lord. They're out there dodging all them damn Anasazi, delivering the goods, and you know how dangerous that is. And so you're the only one who can take care of them. And so if you could take care of them for me, I'd sure appreciate that. We need them. We need them out there delivering the goods. We need them in our family. We need them as part of our team. I want to ask for blessings for Wetzel and his dog, the Tuxedo, that he can find a place where he can live out the rest of his days and be in a comfortable position and place that will be able to take care of him. And want to say thank you to Wets for taking him in the first place. And it's amazing how things work, Lord. We know that you work in very mysterious ways. Sometimes we're not quite sure what they are or how they are, but there's always a reason for it. And we just ask that we can always gain strength and love from whatever it is that we have to go through on our journey. And I want to thank you for bringing Dan and Liz into the house today. And, you know, we love having them in. They always bring us so much value. And we just ask that you'll take care of us all so that we can keep meeting, that we can keep getting together, that we can keep sharing the value and sharing the love and accomplish our mission, Lord. All of this I'm asking humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ, my Savior, our Savior. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Rock and roll.
Or as Congress would like to add, and a woman. Or
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
as of yesterday, it's now amen and a woman.
That doesn't even make
Yeah,
sense.
right.
So
Right.
anything with the word men in it has some, you know,
Or
gender
woman.
specific. I don't get it.
Well, hold on. It's not just that now, Wetz. You obviously don't have a comprehension of the English language like they do, because now your brother is not your brother. You can't call your sister. They're just your siblings. So you can't say, this is my sister Elizabeth. You have to say, this is my sibling.
Dan, can somebody still be my sister? You know, with an A at the end?
Yeah.
Can they be my sister?
Yeah, but you have, yes, you can,
Okay.
but yes,
So
yes.
you're my brother, BRUVVA.
Yeah, but truly it's not, this is my father, this is my parental unit. So I think the
Eunuch?
theory is,
UNIC eunuch.
yeah. So I think the theory is everybody put on a mask, completely disassociate yourself from everybody, cut off all your connections, and now your family is just referred to in this very general sense of, these are some people I happen to know, these are my siblings. I mean, you know, it's not, I guess next is just breaking the family connection so that when we get loaded onto the boxcar, there's nobody to scream to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just won't be individuals anymore. We'll just be one big unit.
Yeah.
Just one big
We're already.
Yep.
Right.
Not if Kong has anything to say about it, that's for sure. You're gonna still be my brothers and my sisters, and Congress gonna go
I
stuck
ain't
in their
changing
ear.
shit.
I just thought it was scary that the people that are sending off all of our money overseas, responsible for every decision of our life, are so stupid that they don't even know that amen has nothing to do with being a man or a woman. It simply means so be it.
Yeah.
And so
like-
when I go to a restaurant and
like
I want to
Hebrew,
order, I
right?
say, can
Or-
I have a let's see, a woman?
Right? Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, you're not
man.
going to be able to say menu anymore. I didn't think about that.
No, I mean, think about it, Scott. That's my head's turning right now. I need a woman.
So you go. So when the lady comes up and asks for your order, do you say you need a sibling, or how does that work? I'm not sure.
Oh my.
Well, you know,
Stop
the
the
good thing
madness.
is we can giggle about it all and make fun of it, and you know, and you know, a good little healthy dose of sarcasm never hurts.
I tried to be
Yes,
the comedian
there's
off the
sarcasm.
Watchmen. You got to make a pariah and just laugh at everything. Otherwise, you'll be consumed by it.
We
Right.
need to make some amendments to this whole constitution.
Right. Hey, everybody, have a great day.
Don't forget your hugs, kids. These things are important. You can't get them from anybody else right now, so you best give them to yourself.
And don't forget your Kangen.
That's right.
Amen. Do not forget that, and get out there and change the world, kids, starting with your own.
Thank you, brother. Have a great day, you guys.
See you guys tomorrow with
Giddy
Sam.
up.
Hopefully he's going to be in the house tomorrow.
Hey, JJ, I don't care what they say. I think you're a pretty good guy. Even if we can't say that, you're a pretty good guy.
Thank you, brother. Back at you, my
All
friend.
right, love you guys. Giddy
Love
up.
you guys too. Bye for now.